All right, greetings, family. About to get into this, and we all be nation. About to get into this, do this impromptu live feed. Just trying to get in some stuff for our people. So much stuff going on. I most definitely want to share my thoughts about the Cosby appeal that happened today. Right, I want to share those quick thoughts that I have on my mind. Trying to connect the dots. La 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 la. Connect the dots. So we're gonna try to connect the dots on we all be concerning this situation. So the thing I'm just trying to get people to come in. Y'all some time to come in, enjoying the conversation. Just trying to make sure everything's okay. Think I'm looking all right. Feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. Want to shout out Nicole. Just got off of Nicole's view. We covered, we did the pre-trial commentary. I mean, not pre-appeal commentary, post-appeal commentary on the Cosby situation. Hello, Sister Nicole Holly. Hello, thank you for joining us. Impromptu session. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Hope you can see me. Yes, thank you. A philosophy of the hustle, the done. Thank you, Jesus Christ. Thank you. Morning, West Side. It's the best side. Black Family United. Everybody's in there. Oh, sucker one. Yeah, I know. I didn't know which one you were talking about in the hat, man, because we had two people with the hats on. Shout out to Brother Drew Story. Been following his work for a while. Excuse me, Drew Story News. And I had Nicole's view, brilliant woman, B1. She loves black men. She loves black people. She has a black son, and she's on code. I was asking people about what's code. I mean, she definitely love our people. Nicole's view. She been there day one, countering the lamestream, insane, fake news media narrative on the Cosby situation, and the pendulum is swinging the other way now. So I do not believe that Cosby is going to have another trial. I do believe that the judges are going to allow Cosby to walk. I believe that. I'm saying it here. I'm gonna tell you why. That's why I'm gonna do this live stream. And true story, and yeah, definitely. I'm art historian, true historian. I'm gonna go ahead and rock that narrative and claim that title because I love my people. And sometimes my people don't understand where I'm coming from with some of my viewpoints or perspectives, but that's okay because we all could be on the same team. We all in the same game, as Miss Chalet would say, right? But I hope y'all can see me and hear me with no problems and let me know in the chat if there is a problem. Try to get some more people in here before I speak on anything. But today is an amazing time to be alive. If you are bored in 2020, you're not living your best life. Even if you're not living your worst life. You shouldn't not be bored right now. It's too much stuff going on, too much at stake for our people and for yourself. And it's time to get help. And it's a new day, though. I want to give a shout out to New Black Media because we are doing our thing. It's a blessing be a part. And also, like I said, on Sister Nicole's show, I visited Ida B. Wells' birthplace down in Holly Springs, Mississippi. She was born down there, July 16th, 1862. I visited the house, the master's house that I don't know if she was born in the house, but her father was an amazing carpenter. He built the master's home. So it was amazing. He built that home back in 1858, and that home is still standing strong. So shout out to the Ida B. Wells Museum down in Holly Springs, Mississippi. If you ever in the vicinity of Memphis, Mississippi Delta, go check out Holly Springs, Mississippi. A lot of great history about our people in the state of Mississippi that's been hidden from our people. So Ida B. Wells Barnett is a righteous ancestor, and she's hot right now. But make sure when they do a movie about her life, I don't want no Casey Lemons or Lena Waif or anybody like that near that project. You ain't gonna turn Ivy Wells into some LGBTQ walking advertisement because she would love black men. She married a strong black man. She loved black men, hetero alpha black men. So don't try to twist our sister story because she went to bat by herself for 12 years. She led a one-woman anti-lynching crusade to help our people, to bring awareness to the atrocities committed against our people in America. So now you ain't gonna dirty Ida B. Wells Barnett name with some BS. Tell the truth about our she rules and she rules, right? And speaking of heroes and sheroes, we're gonna talk about Rosa Parks today. We're gonna talk about Bill Cosby today, because today is the 65th anniversary of the Montgomery bus boycott. It's the 65th anniversary of the Montgomery bus boycott. You know, they had Bill Cosby's appeal today, December 1st, 2020, on the 65th anniversary of the start of the Montgomery bus boycott. Bill Cosby was found guilty in the Kangaroo Just Us court, where Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Bill Cosby found guilty under lynch law, where Montgomery County, Pennsylvania. Now think about this, right? Breonna Taylor, right? They told us on September 23rd this year that they would not bring up any charges, that they would not, the DA would not bring up any charges against the cops that killed Breonna Taylor in our own home. September 23rd was the 65th anniversary of the all-white male jury in the Mississippi Delta finding Roy Bryant and his brother J.W. Milam innocent of killing, lynching Emmett Lewis Till, just 14 years young. Roy Bryant was married to the woman Carolyn Bryant, who's about Bill Cosby's age right now, of 83. It's been proven by her own words and testament that she lied on Emmett Till, that nothing happened to what people think or thought happened. And if anything did happen like that, he didn't deserve to die, in her words. Like, he didn't deserve what he got. But guess what? Carolyn Bryant was the one that went the most rights home with her husband, Roy Bryant, his half brother, J.W. Milam, and some Negroes. Yeah, black folks helped kill Emmett Till. Black folks helped kidnap and kill Emmett Till. So they went the most right home, Emmett Till's great uncle, and she was the one that identified Emmett Till, who was sleeping. So why is she not in prison? And yet you got Bill Cosby in prison on some BS over some Benadryl. The case was so weak they had to call in other people, not proven, like they said, or bad acts, like the prosecutor was saying in the appeal. To me, if there were bad acts, they had to be proven in the court of law. It should be, for the legal records that show that he committed actual legitimate so-called bad acts found proven in the court of law. That was just hearsay and rumors. They allow a bunch of hearsay, rumors, unproven, whatever, to cloud the logic. Bill Cosby should not have been in jail. First of all, the last DA had it in email that he would not, bring up any charges against Bill Cosby. Him nor his office will bring up any charges if Bill Cosby did the civil thing, right? He allowed himself to be interviewed, and he's only guilty of telling his truth. He's not guilty of anything allegedly rape or anything like that. He just told his honest truth because he had a deal with the last DA that they would not bring up any charges or prosecution against him if he just shared his side of the story, which he did under good faith. And also he had an email, I believe, from the last DA where I read that they said we would not bring up any charges, but also he paid the she, whatever she is or it is, almost $5 million in the civil thing. She wasn't seeking no justice. She was seeking compensation. She was just seeking a payday, and she secured the bag. So Bill Cosby paid almost $5 million. So why is he sitting in jail over 2 years later? Because it's not about right or wrong, guilty or innocent. It's about they could do whatever they want to do to us because we have no rights that the white man is bound to respect by law. That's from Dred Scott. We are the children of Dred Scott, whether it be biological, spiritual children. The descendants, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, American descendant of slaves. We are treated like Dred Scott was treated. We have no rights that the white man, by his law, is bound to respect. That's why they could take our intellectual property and claim like little Prince, right? They said Prince didn't have a will, but yeah, he had a vault that he made for unreleased music. And he went to all that trouble to get his masters in publishing, whatever, back from Warner Brother. He tried to warn a brother. And then on the anniversary of him securing his publishing on masters, he sacrificed on an elevator in his home. So you want us to believe that Prince didn't leave no type of will? Okay. All right. This man went to all the trouble to build a vault for his unreleased music, but he didn't leave no wills. Come on, y'all. And the reason why they could do us like that, because now we don't have no code. Black folks don't, we don't have no no code, but we don't have no military. We don't have nothing to protect our interests. Like Bill Cosby's in prison for the most part because Kinder Morgan allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly. I don't want to say. Think about it. Y'all talking about how Bill Cosby's son Ennis was killed because Bill Cosby tried to buy the network, and people say that's a lie. No, there's newspapers documents from that era that show Bill Cosby tried to get together a group to buy a network, and then not too long after that, they killed his son, and then the girl came out said that Bill Cosby was her dad, whatever. All this stuff happened within a matter of days of each other. Take a look. It's all online. So you got all this stuff going on, right? Bill Cosby, not deterred, he was interest bound in the network. But here's the thing. Also, Bill Cosby and his wife, Dr. Camille Cosby, own a lot of land in the Northeast, right? So Kinder Morgan wanted to build a pipeline on parts of Bill Cosby's property. And Dr. Camille Cosby, see, they got with the environmentalists because they believe in land conservation, right? So they got all these acres of land in places like Pennsylvania and Massachusetts. So they got together with the environmentalists and other land conservationists to go against Kinder Morgan, a big energy giant in America, to stop them from trying to build a pipeline on their properties. That, and Dr. Camille Cosby did an op-ed piece, an editorial, whatever, in a newspaper that came out in March 2014. By December of 2014, Bill Cosby's under, public scrutiny. He's being tried in the court of public opinion. By the end of that year, this unknown, unfunny, he made Kevin Hart look like Richard Pryor, this Hannibal Buress, right? Hannibal Buress, of all names, Hannibal, right? Sneak attack. But this unknown, unfunny comedian made this crappy joke about Cosby and his stand-up, and all of a sudden, everybody's attacking Bill Cosby. Everybody hates Cosby, right? At the end of the year. But they really think about, okay, so his wife come up with the op-ed back in March of 2014, going against Kinder Morgan, getting with the environmental activists and stuff like that. Next thing you know, months later, Bill Cosby is being tried and crucified. This man had Netflix specials set up. He had this hot comedy tour he was on, and all of a sudden he's the most unliked person in the whole world. You act like he killed somebody. He killed the Pope or the president or something, the way they treated Bill Cosby back at the end of 2014. So this is why we gotta reclaim the narrative. This is why I do what I do as Brother Ron. In spite of my traumas and all my difficulties in life, it's crazy. I tell you some of the stuff I've been going through lately, you won't believe it, but it's 2020. You may believe it because it's 2020. But we gotta keep our eyes on the prize, right? Bill Cosby and Dr. J, the basketball player, they actually were co-owners of a Coca-Cola bottling company near Philadelphia, right? Back in the day, it was a lawyer from New York who owned a chain of grocery stores. His brother, they helped put together that group. You can find YouTube commercials of them from the day on YouTube promoting Coke, Dr. J and Bill Cosby. You can find those on YouTube still. But here's the thing. Isn't it interesting Dr. J and Bill Cosby both lost their sons under questionable circumstances? They found Dr. J's son at the bottom of a lake in Florida, I think in Orlando, in the suburb. He was down there for a while. So they say, it's weird. Just look up that case. I talked a little bit about it on We All Be. I might do some more stories or more intel on it, because I did a post about Dr. J this year, actually. I talked about the case where they found his son at the bottom of a retention pond, which was interesting because, there was a lot of activity in that pond, in that subdivision. But yet, nobody knew where he went. I mean, I think a security guard that night when he disappeared, because he was they were having a party at their house, and he went to the grocery store to make get some food or something like that. And he never came back home. And I believe they found his body in his car months later down that retention pond. Although that retention pond and that subdivision, there was a lot of activity going on. So why they didn't know if they was treating the lake? How come they couldn't find that large object down there that didn't belong for all that time? So I believe Dr. J sued the subdivision. I don't know what came of it, but y'all should check that case out. Use his internet. Use your smartphone. Brother Ron's just throwing crumbs out there. Y'all like ducks in the pond. I'm just getting y'all the crumbs. Y'all gotta go get it though. I'm gonna just put the crumbs out there. Y'all go get it. So Cosby, man, he gets a bum rap. Bill Cosby was one of the first national celebrities to boycott Cincinnati. I remember that when I was in college back in 2000. when they were killing all them black men and black people in general, but black men in particular in Cincinnati, the police were. And Bill Cosby was outraged by this. This is Bill Cosby in 2000. He canceled all his events and stuff in Cincinnati, and he encouraged other entertainers to follow his lead. I think people like Whoopi Goldberg and other folks did follow Cosby lead, in canceling their engagement in Cincinnati, leading a boycott against Cincinnati, the Queen City, for how all these black men were being traumatized and terrorized by the police. That Bill Cosby. Y'all don't talk about that Bill Cosby in 2000, just a couple years after they killed his son, doing that, giving back to the black community. Y'all focus on the Bill Cosby 4 years ago when he did that NAACP pound cake speech. That's why y'all want to crucify Cosby on. But yeah, we could forgive Penitentiary Joe, Jim Crow Biden for his 47-year career of destroying the black family with the crime bills he passed. We could forgive Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, Broke Foot Joe Biden. We could forgive, but Bill Cosby is unforgivable blackness. Y'all crazy. Y'all call me crazy. No, y'all insane. This love. We sick, boss. We homeless, boss. We boss. Y'all got this mentality where y'all got, beat with white folks at all costs. So there's a lot of black folks that are white supremacists. Now, like I said, all white folks are racist, but all white folks ain't white supremacists. Black folks can't be racist, but there's some black folks that are white supremacists. So I'm trying to help y'all because I want us to win. So Cosby, also, he gave the money for Melvin Van Peebles' groundbreaking Sweet Back Badass song. Bill Cosby was the sponsor. He donated money, gave money to Melvin Van Peebles, or lent money to him to make that work. They did a documentary or a docudrama about the making of that movie. And Mario Van Peebles played his dad. Now, Mario Van Peebles was the young dude that was getting on with that prostitute at the opening of Sweet Back Badass song. I heard that he actually was having sex with the girl, with the lady. So maybe that's porn. But that was an interesting, innovative movie that really saved Hollywood. It was black exploitation movies that saved Hollywood. It's like all them black folks that went to see that side out Black Panther. I'm guilty. Saw it twice. Chadwick Boseman's birthday was yesterday on November 29th. He would have been 43. I don't care what they say. When he died, he was 42. Okay. So I'm gonna do a Chadwick Boseman video sometime. I was gonna do it wasn't yesterday, excuse me. Sunday, November 29th was his birthday. Chadwick Boseman. I'm thinking the name of Boseman. Okay, yeah, Chadwick. That was his birthday, Mr. Black Panther, 42. Yeah, he would have been 43 years young. Now they said, they changed his birth date. This is what they do because they don't want you to play with numbers. Like, this is what I'm talking about today. This being the 65th anniversary of Rosa Parks refusing to stand up. She stood up by sitting down, and she refused to move from that bus spot. That sparked the Montgomery bus boycott. And I'm tired of y'all comparing Kamala Harris to Rosa Parks. She is not Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks went to jail to free black people. Kamala Harris sent black folks to prison to help herself. She is not Rosa Parks. Kamala Harris is not Eunice Carter, the person who brought down Lucky Luciano. She is not Alberta Odell Jones, who they assassinated in Louisville, August of 65. I'm going to do a video about Sister Alberta Odell Jones. She was Muhammad Ali lawyer. She actually helped negotiate his first contract. She told those white men who ran his career at that time, look, put aside 15% into a trust for Cassius Clay, as he was then known, until he turned 35. So she was looking out for the brother, but nobody looks out for Alberta Odell Jones. She was quite possibly set up by her so-called good friend and were murdered allegedly by black men on orders of powerful white men. So I'm going to talk about these ancestors. I'm going to educate y'all because I want them to be household names like Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion, or the mayor, but Thee Stallion. I want us to know these people. I want you to teach your kids about these people. I want you to learn about these people and pass on the good news, right? So Rosa Parks. Well, we got to know. We gotta understand. Cosby is the sacrificial lamb. He's the blood sacrifice for Me Too and Time's Up. You know, black folks have always been the boogeyman for America. We have always served as the boogeyman. You think about like I talked about on Nicole's show today about Willie Horton. You know, when they did their Willie Horton ad back in '88. You know, when Dukakis, the Democrat, was running against George Herbert Walker Bush. You know, Papa Bush, and he could have won. You know, Dukakis made some silly mistakes by wearing a helmet. He already had a big head, weird looking Greek American dude, but I thought in third grade that he actually was going to win, actually, back in '88. But Bush and his team, Lee Atwater, who was Bush's brain, this is a guy who put the Southern strategy on steroids. Lee Atwater was the guy who gave us Karl Rove, who was W. George Jr.'s brain, as far as he was Bengali. So they created the Willie Horton ad because Willie Horton was a prisoner in Massachusetts, and Dukakis administration had a furlough. You got weekend furlough program where prisoners go out on the weekends and go out into the community. And Willie Horton violated the trust, so they came up with that ad, put the fear into white America about the rise of black people. They got this birth of a nation mentality when it comes to black people. And really, we are not that bad. You think about all the stuff that has happened to us. See, that's white folks' fear. They know that they couldn't put up with even 25 to 10 to 15% of what we endured as black people throughout the generations with the generational trauma and all that. They couldn't put up with it. So they're just trying to figure out we're gonna uprise against them one day. So yeah, Willie Horton put the fear of God in white America, and Bush was able to secure the victory to the White House. So Bill Cosby went from being America's dad to being America's number one boogeyman, in a matter of years, right? So this is why I'm not that hard on Trump, because they love Trump too, and now they hate Trump. See, I mean, the media is very powerful. Like Brother Malcolm X said, the media is the most powerful entity on the planet because it influences and controls the minds of the masses. So y'all got to understand this. The media, how they play, how they poison public perception and public opinion. This is why I'm on what I'm on right now. So Bill Cosby has done a lot of things, gave a lot of money to black institutions, but when he needed people the most, they abandoned him. The black media, the traditional black media, did not do a good job of countering the narrative. The new black media, led by people like Sister Nicole's Views and Drew Story News, Brother Gavin Richard, G Boot 2786, all those people, we are leading the charge. We don't have the big deep pocket budgets as a lot of these folks that are shaming the nation and misleading people and manipulating people's emotions. Because a lot of stuff, I'm telling you, you can find for yourself. Take a look. It's all online. But what I'm saying, all right, the Montgomery bus boycott, people gotta understand, before the Montgomery bus boycott, you had a situation with black women. Black women never been protected by the system. The black family has never been protected by the system. The black man, woman, and child, the Holy Trinity, the real Trinity, in my opinion, no, in my actual realization, we are the Trinity. Never have been protected or supported by a system. Permanent underclass treatment, right? But you had a situation before the Montgomery bus boycott where it was like there's a fact of life that you had white men in positions of power, whether it be the bus driver or the police down there, raping black women and getting away with it. They had diplomatic immunity in violating black women. These are bus drivers and police officers. You had a situation where no, Rosa Parks was a trained activist and a revolutionary. She just wasn't no reactionary. We said, "Oh, my feet are so sore, they so tired, they so swollen. Lord Jesus, I don't want to leave my bus seat because my feet, my tusses are hurting, child. My tusses." Now she was trained. She was a Garveyite. She came from a family of Garveyites. Grandfather, Garveyite. Even though Garvey had a mistrust of light-skinned mulatto-looking Negroes, he still was a proud Garveyite. He had a shotgun. They believed in the Second Amendment, arming thyself. Parents are Garveyites, right? So she came out of RBG mentality. And it was back in 44 where she was sent to another part of Alabama to investigate the rape of Reese Taylor. This happened on September 3rd, 1944. Reese Taylor was coming home from church with her best friend and her best friend's son. She was kidnapped by some 6 white boys. They ain't gonna call them men, they were boys because they act like boys. White males kidnapped her at gunpoint, and raped her, gang raped her. 6 white males, right? She coming home from church and they kidnapped her and raped her. And nothing was done. Nobody was tried in court, even though they confessed. They all confessed in one way or the other that they participated in validating this black woman, but there was nothing to be done to address it, as far as legal address or redress, whatever you call it. But here's the thing: they made her a double victim by saying she was a hooker. They said, "Oh, she wanted it. She was a prostitute. This woman was coming home from church. She had a husband at home. She had a little baby girl at home. They messed her up so bad she could never have any more children. This happened to her when she was in her 20s. She lived to be almost 100 years old. She died a couple years ago. And all the state of Alabama did was say, we sorry. They didn't offer no type of reparations or nothing. But I mean, what can you do? I mean, they destroyed this woman's life in her 20s. She lived to be almost 100 years old. Then she lost her daughter in a tragic car accident several years later, or some years later. So I mean, this woman, I don't know how she was able. She went back home to Alabama. I think she lived in Florida for a while. But she had my understanding, one of the guys who raped her was a next door neighbor, and nothing was done. Nothing was done. And Rosa Parks investigated what happened to Reese Taylor for the NAACP, and it was like a national case, a national cause celeb. You had black folks trying to bring awareness to what happened to Reese Taylor down in Alabama back in the 40s. We didn't have it on social media then, but you had a better black press than you do now. I mean, a better traditional black press, right? So they got the word out what happened to Reese Taylor, but nothing was done in the courts. All these guys were never tried. They was able to live their lives out and die without any type of harassment from the law, because they were the law. Because we have no rights that the white man is bound to respect by law. So that's Rosa Parks' background. And this is America. And that's Rosa Parks' background. I mean, she was an activist. She come from a family of freedom fighters. And she went to the Highlander School up in Tennessee to get training as well, too. But I was just saying, back in November of 55, she was in Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. They just had a young minister coming to town, new face in town, named Dr. Well, I think he was working on his doctorate still, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. She was at his church, listened to a brother named Dr. T.I.M. Howard, a medical doctor from Mississippi. At one point, he was the wealthiest black man in the state of Mississippi. He built the first black swimming pool. And the man operated from Mound Bayou. He had a medical practice in Mound Bayou, Mississippi, an all-black town, and in the Mississippi Delta. Man, he was an entrepreneur, owned a restaurant, even had a zoo. That's Dr. T.M. Howard. He also was the guy who helped finance a real investigation into what happened to Emmett Lewis Till. One of the people that was his protege was Medgar Evers. Yet that Medgar Evers used to work for Dr. T.M. Howard at his insurance company as an insurance agent. Medgar Evers, we just lost his brother Charles Evers, who was also trained by Dr. T.M. Howard. Dr. T.M. Howard also helped inspire Fannie Lou Hamer, because what he did was he was a part of the Regional Council of Negro Leadership, the RCNL. And annually they would have an event in the Mississippi Delta that would attract anywhere from 10,000 to 20,000 black people to talk about black politics, black economics. This is back in the 50s. There were black folks doing this for black people. They bring in congressmen like Charles Diggs and the Reverend Adam Clayton Powell Jr. and even Thurgood Marshall, the future Supreme Court justice, to be the keynote speakers. They had entertainment from people like Mahalia Jackson. There were black folks doing this back in the day, right? So Dr. T.M. Howard, he financed the investigation into what happened to Emmett Lewis Till. Medgar Evers, they're out in the field, looking for witnesses and whatnot to bring into a court of law to testify about what happened to Emmett Till. Dr. Howard, he ridiculed and called out Jacob Hoover and the FBI. So he was on Jacob Hoover's enemies list. And before Dr. King rose to prominence, Dr. Howard was considered one of our best black orators in the country. He was a brilliant orator. Let's try to find some audio of Dr. Howard online. And we don't even talk about Dr. Howard like we should, man. But Dr. Howard also, he was ran out of Mississippi after the Emmett Till thing. Moved to Chicago, opened up another medical practice. He was one of the first black national leaders to raise money for the widow and the family of Malcolm X. When Malcolm X was assassinated, he was one of the first national black leaders to raise money for brother Malcolm X's family. He spoke at Medgar's funeral. He helped create Jesse Jackson's organization, Rainbow Push Coalition, right? That was founded in his damn mansion. he gave Reverend Jesse Jackson the seed money to start his we call that Operation Push, what Rainbow Coalition, Jesse Jackson organization. Dr. Howard gave him the money for that. There's a biography about Dr. Howard written by Dr. Linda Beto and David Beto. They were first named Black Maverick. His name something else. You can find it in Amazon. But y'all should check out the biography on Dr. Howard. I think one of the reasons why he's not remembered because he was an advocate of abortions. He's a perform abortions. And the reason why he had a lot of protection for being outspoken in the Delta because he performed a lot of abortions for white people, like white folks with connections and stuff. So they gave him some type of protection. But he did abortions and stuff like that. He believed in eugenics to a certain degree, like a lot of them did back in the day. But also he was an interesting dude. He used to go big game safari hunting over in Africa and other places. Dr. Howard was a unique guy, and y'all should just check him out. I was blessed to talk to Charles Evers about Dr. Howard. He had nothing but respect for the man, but yeah, he's not remembered. Like Dr. Short said, we love our traitors but hate our heroes. I call him heroes. So he's complex, but yeah. But Dr. Howard actually spoke at Dr. King's church down in Alabama, the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church. He spoke about Emmett Till. He's on a speaking campaign for the NAACP to raise awareness about what was going on in Mississippi and to give folks like the backstory and updates on Emmett Till's situation. So he spoke, and Rosa Parks was in the crowd. So she says years later what she was thinking about when she was refusing to remove from her seat was about Emmett Till and what Dr. Howard said about Emmett Till and about his face, because you had black media was the one that put that horrible disfigured face of Emmett Till out there for the world to see on behalf of Mammy Till, right? Mammy Till Bradley. So there was John H. Johnson, Negro Digest, Jet Magazine. They did that. Black media did that. We got control of that narrative, but black media is slow. I mean, the traditional black media is horrible right now in terms of trying to educate the people. That's why we got to do stuff like this at We All Be TV and Nicole's View. We got to feed y'all this information, and y'all do what y'all want with it. We're just offering you another option. But that's what she was thinking about. And I bring all this, like how this ties to Cosby. Cosby was very black, proactive, did a lot of things for the black community, regardless of his shortcomings as a man and some of the stuff that pissed people off about him in terms of how he spoke on black people and our conditions. He did not deserve what he got in his current situation. He did not deserve this. He did so much for our people and for our institutions. We should have been more outspoken, and that's why he's not going to get another trial on this, because a lot of us are outraged. We're outspoken because enough is enough. Like right. Eddie Griffin said, all our heroes must have asterisks by their names. You, as a black man, you don't get away clean. They got to put an asterisk. They want to dirt up. Even Dr. King, what they trying to dirt up his names of the last several years. Malcolm, anybody. We can't have heroes and sheroes without any dirt, or they try to make them gay without any proof. It's just hearsay. So I think it's fascinating the times we're living in right now. But yeah, I believe Cosby is going to walk. I look at the judges; they all lily white, mayonnaise. But it's not about the color of the skin; it's color of character. Like I said, all races are not white supremacists, and there are some black folks that are white supremacists. So don't get fooled by the skin folk, because they ain't always your kin folk. Some of these skin folk. I'm looking at the color of character, and what I saw from that appeals process, that the judges weren't buying it for the most part, or they put on a good show to know they weren't buying this. I look at the body language and the questions that were asked. The prosecutor was horrible. Could I make a great case? I mean, based on hearsay, you going on bad acts that were not proven in the court of law. This is just hearsay, rumors, and innuendo. Then the case was so weak, you got to bring in other folks whose cases were weak. And just because somebody do a payout through civil lawsuits and insurance companies does not mean they are guilty. Because a lot of times, the courts take up a lot of time and money. So you just want to get on with it. It's like, look at Michael Jackson. I think it's strange that Michael Jackson beat it. He beat it the first time, right? And they brought it up a second time. But why in between those times of 93 and 2005, I believe, why would they keep on sending kids to Neverland Ranch? Why would Make-A-Wish and all these organizations kept on sending kids to Michael if he is this predator, this super predator, as they say? How come when they tore up Neverland Ranch, the FBI could not find one thing to incriminate Michael Jackson on. They could not find nothing. This is the same FBI that set up Marcus Garvey, that had Dr. King killed. The gun that killed Dr. King came from the FBI. So why would they want to let Michael Jackson off the hook if they could get him? I think the guy named the DA down there, Tom Sneddon, down there in Santa Barbara, he's dead now, I believe. But you look at how they try to destroy Michael Jackson in death. His name, his legacy is too powerful to be destroyed. And like I said, I'm not in agreement with Judge Joe Brown in his assessment with Michael Jackson. He's entitled to his opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. But what I do know is that it's funny how Michael Jackson has given so much money away when he was alive. He was a true humanitarian and philanthropist. He gave away a lot of money to the people. You know what I'm saying? He gave a lot of money behind the scenes, and he loved black people. Even though he's like, why he messed himself up like that? You gotta understand, we're living in an insane system where black folks are not loved. So it's hard to help self-love if you believe in a system that's gonna validate you. Is not about loving you. You know, so Michael Jackson, in his own way, you know, look at his legacy of his music and what he's done. Things, I mean, the ATV catalog he brought, you know, he got into that buying publishing because Paul McCartney, who was once a good friend of Michael Jackson. Now they did that song, "The Girl Is Mine," for the Thriller album, right? One of the greatest albums, still the best-selling album of all time. Because the people love Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was powerful. And but Paul McCartney told him you should buy publishing. And not only did Michael Jackson buy publishing, he brought the Beatles publishing, right? And that pissed off Paul McCartney because he got Yoko Ono, John Lennon's widow, to try to help him. And you know, that's another connection. You know, it was Dick Gregory that detoxed John Lennon and Yoko Ono. He went over to their cave mansion in Europe, and he was their guru. He was the inspiration for the song Imagine. You know, even John Lennon says that. So Dick Gregory is connected to both John Lennon, Yoko Ono, and Michael Jackson. You know, he saved Michael Jackson's life during the trial because Michael was so dehydrated. You know, like Brother Gavin talked about how Michael had a collapsed lung during the whiz. It was Dick Gregory that came up with a remedy to help restore his lung. So Dick Gregory was very close to Michael Jackson. He knew a lot of inside information of what's going on with Michael. So they killed Michael Jackson for the publishing, just like they killed Prince for the publishing. And they don't leave no will. These guys were brilliant, shrewd businessmen. You trying to convince us they ain't leave no will? No, you just hit the wheel or destroyed the wheels, right? Because they don't play fair. Look at Sam Cooke. This December, another anniversary, the mysterious death of Sam Cooke. He was killed allegedly by his business partner, right? Alan Klein. Alan Klein's family controls Sam Cooke's publishing to this day. You know how much that catalog generates? Well, where's the biopic about Sam Cooke? I'm looking forward to that Regina King's project that coming out. Regina King, she's a great, brilliant actress and just gifted. I love Regina King. But she got a project coming out about, you know, that night with you had Muhammad Ali, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, and Jim Brown all together. I wish I was a fly on the wall for that meeting, right? So she did a dramatization based on a play about that one night in Miami where all these giants came. And then the only one still left is Jim Brown. And people hate on Jim Brown because he met with Donald Trump. See, we don't do our receipt. I mean, damn. It's like Jim Brown worked with all these gangs, American. He did stuff back in the day, stood with Muhammad Ali, tried to do black empowerment economics back in the 60s for black people. Jim Brown have all these receipts, but yet he meets with Donald Trump. He's canceled. Y'all crazy. Don't even know Jim Brown, one of the greatest athletes to ever walk this planet. Arguably the greatest football. This man set all the running back records in less than 10 years of playing professional football. And then with less games. That's Jim Brown. He should have been the first black person to win a Heisman. They cheated Jim Brown and gave it to Paul Hornung, whatever his name is, and Notre Dame, who ended up playing for Green Bay Packers. Paul Hornung won it that year, even though Jim Brown had the better stats. So it was a protest because even Dick Schaap, the great sports journalist Dick Schaap, resigned from the Heisman committee when they didn't give it to Jim Brown. It was a disgrace. No, now Ernie Davis ended up winning years later, who also played for Syracuse, then played one down of professional football. I think he died of either like some type of leukemia or form of cancer before he played a down of football. That's Ernie Davis, the movie The Express talk about. It came out some years ago. It's a pretty good movie. But Ernie Davis, yeah. But Jim Brown also played for Syracuse. He supposedly got the first Heisman for a black person. And that's a disgrace. But anyway, yeah, we shit on our people, man, because we don't know their history. Like with Bill Cosby, give him fair and balance, man. Just don't make 2004 Pound Cake Speaks his noose. Don't make that the noose to hang his career on, right? Or to hang Bill Cosby's legacy on. He has done a lot for black people. A lot of us are not aware. And I ain't seen nobody giving back Bill Cosby money. They took away his honorary degrees and titles, but ain't one of them gave back Bill Cosby his money, his millions of dollars he gave out. Yeah, he helped Richard Pryor. Bill Cosby helped a lot of people. It's like Dick Gregory. You know, people want to accuse Dick Gregory of this and that, but you don't even know the whole truth about Dick Gregory because these guys don't brag about what they do for their people. Dick Gregory, I told y'all, don't trust celebrities. Dick Gregory had to give up his career to get into the movement full time. Bill Cosby took his place, and Bill Cosby talks about this. He said, "Look, I took the career that Dick Gregory is supposed to have." No, Bill paid his respect at Dick Gregory's funeral. I was there when Bill Cosby came in with Camille, and they paid their respects to Dick Gregory during his homegoing celebration. So I'm saying all this to say that I want y'all to understand that it is time for black people to be outspoken, to be more vocal, to be more demanding of what we need. Stop playing all this weird stuff y'all play, want to justify y'all cowardice in terms of like, you vote for Biden and you get nothing out of it. There's prison time, broken families, broken dreams. Obama was sad. He's a travesty. We just lost David Dinkins, the first black mayor, the first and only black mayor of NYC. And you talk to a lot of black folks about David Dinkins. We don't know who he is or was and what he done or what he did, because the white media don't really talk about David Dinkins. They railroaded David Dinkins. He was railroaded. He was scapegoated and all this stuff. He's like he was a decent man. He died not too long after his wife that he was married to for a long time. But you look at somebody like Marion Barry. When y'all think of Marion Barry, y'all think about him smoking the pipe on grainy FBI footage. Y'all don't think about the amazing legacy he did in terms of serving black people and bringing some type of restorative justice. Helping create the largest black middle class in the country, helping create black business millionaires, creating a black business class, helping black folks be able to go to school, be the first one in their family to go to college because the summer programs, the job programs he provided for children. They was able to save money and go to college. This stuff Marion Barry done, but all y'all want to think about that moment where the bitch set him up, right? She set me up. It's sad because you let the white folks dictate how we view our heroes and she-roos, how we view ourselves, how we see ourselves in a larger world, in a larger context. It's ridiculous. It's a travesty. We got all this technology at our fingertips. There's no reason why we can't teach ourselves how to love each other and get this true information out. People always tell me, Ron, you live in the past. I said the past has never passed. When I talk about Rosa Parks, like what she's going through is still relevant today, right? With the discrimination, what we facing as a people, not as a black woman, not just as a black woman, not just as a black man or as a black child, but as a people. We got a lot of work that still needs to be done. So history is on repeat. Man, I talk about Emmett Till, right? This past Saturday, I went down to Money, Mississippi with my beautiful mom, my beautiful sister. She was in town visiting for the holidays or the holidays. So we decided to make a road trip down to Mississippi. There's a lot of history here around Memphis and Mississippi Delta. I'll try to pride myself to be a good host when folks come into town from across the country or whatever. I try to show them around a little bit. I got stuff to do myself, but it's so much history that people that live here take it for granted. So we're not that far away. We're just 2 hours away from Memphis, from the spot where Emmett Till allegedly whistled at the white lady, Carolyn Bryant, down in Money, Mississippi. Now, the thing about it is, Money, Mississippi, Sumner, Mississippi is located in Tallahatchie County. She have a beautiful friend, Sister Margaret Block. She was a real freedom fighter, civil rights activist, legend, all that stuff. The sister of Sam Block, another civil rights freedom fighting legend. She passed away. She became an ancestor 5 years ago. But she usually, when I used to come visit her in Mississippi and Cleveland, she'll take me out into like all these amazing spots in the Delta, where Robert Johnson is actually buried at, in Greenwood, the Dockery Plantation where the blues was born, where Charlie Patton, the great Charlie Patton, used to play his blues and all that stuff. But she took me one day down to Money, Mississippi, and said, Ryan, she used to smoke a lot. She started, Ryan. And she was a great poet too. She was a brilliant poet. Ryan, whatever we do, we got to get the hell out of Tallahatchie County before sundown. We can't stay in Tallahatchie County, Ron. So she was talking like that. And the reason why I tell her because actually had a hit on her life. The Klan put out a hit on her life, and she was snuck out of Tallahatchie County through a funeral hearse that was driven by Berta Kegler, who was a great unsung civil rights activist and freedom fighter. Berta Kegler ran the funeral home, a local funeral home, and so when they had a contract on Sister Margaret Block's life, she had to sneak out of the county through the funeral hearse. And they ended up killing Berta Kegler. I think Berta Kegler and one of her friends met with Bobby Kennedy down in Jackson, Mississippi. And on their way back home in the Delta, they had some type of weird accident. And they were found, I believe, with their heads decapitated. So Berta Kegler was decapitated. Allegedly, her and her friend were horribly mutilated. And y'all should look up Berta Kegler. Berta Kegler. I think I'm saying her name right. I think it's a Birdia. Then the last name is Keglar. Berta Kegler. Look that up. I think that's her name. If not, blame the black man. But yeah, so much history. So we went down to Money, Mississippi. We went down to the Bryant's store where that incident happened. That store is still standing. It's ruined now, but it's some parts of it, most of it has fallen down over the years. I went there back in March of 2012. There's more of it still standing than it is now. And it's also next to the gas station. It's an old-timey gas station, right? So it's like on this dusty road. But I remember she was nervous even then. She was constantly looking around, seeing cars go by. She was like, Ron, you got all you need. Just get out of here. Get the hell out of Tallahatchie County. No, Mark. But I went down there with my sister and my mother. It was like, okay, we was driving. My sister was driving down the road, and all of a sudden, this dog came out of nowhere. I almost had an accident. I guess it was forewarning about the situation. The dog came out of nowhere, and then like we went down the street, went to the site, and I remember looking up down the street. There was a car with some people, and the car started flashing its car lights, and all of a sudden, all these cars start coming out of nowhere, going up and down the street, going real fast, trying to intimidate us. It was like something from Lovecraft Country. I don't know if you ever seen Lovecraft Country. It was something like that, where these cars going up and down, just real fast down this dusty road, kicking up all this dust. We're taking photos. My mom, my sister are afraid. I said, I'm not afraid. I'm protected by the righteous ancestors. And it's still daylight, right? So we're also not that far away from the Tallahatchie River where they pulled Emmett Till's body out of. I went there, the Tallahatchie River, to that site 8 years ago with Sister Margaret Block. Still daylight. It's kind of spooky. See, Tallahatchie County is still spooky. Even in the sun, it's still a spooky, creepy place. The energy is weird. It's very negative and hateful energy. And so that's the same spot in Tallahatchie River. Like they had that Emmett Till historic marker. White folks will go down there and shoot with their guns at that marker. Now they got a heavy bulletproof marker down there now at that water side where they pulled Emmett Till's body out. So they were going up and down. It's kicking up dust, man. And my mom and sister were very anxious, but we got our photos and all that stuff, and we left the premises. And I'm gonna tell you, it's like night and day. Once we left that area in Tallahatchie County, Tallahatchie County is also where Morgan Freeman is from. He was born in Memphis, the great actor Morgan Freeman, but he grew up in Charleston, Mississippi. Charleston is located in Tallahatchie County. So we left Tallahatchie County and we went to Ruleville, where the great Fannie Lou Hamer is from. We paid a pilgrimage. We made a pilgrimage to her resting place with her husband, Pap Hamer, in Ruleville. And I'm gonna tell you, the energy was amazing. To go from that energy of fear and hate. I mean, this Emmett Till thing happened 65 years ago, but you can still feel all that tension and then hate and like the anxiety there. 65 years later, but to go to the resting place of our righteous ancestor, you could feel the love, the peace of mind, the tranquility, and just like, man, that's amazing. What a difference. You right? So if y'all go to Mississippi Delta, check out it's so much stuff to check out in Mississippi Delta, man. It's amazing. Like I look at Clarksdale. I talk about Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was born in Clarksdale, Mississippi, right? Not only was Sam Cooke born there, but Ike Turner's from Clarksdale. Rick Ross, the rapper, is from Clarksdale. Nate Dogg, smoke weed every day, is from Clarksdale. A lot of great musicians are from Clarksdale. Muddy Waters is from Coahoma County, where Clarksdale is located in Mississippi. John Lee Hooker, Clarksdale. Bessie Smith, the great empress of the blues, she died at the what is now known as the Riverside Motel or Hotel in Clarksdale back in 1937, I believe. I'm not mistaken. September 1937. So, uh, I don't know. Black folks don't get justice in the system. It's just us. We don't get no justice, really. They keep on killing us, man. We got this Emmett Till fetish going on where we know who did it and we don't do nothing about it. Like you look at how all these rappers been getting killed, like King Von and Mo 3 and some other ones like XX Pop Smoke. Man, we killed these. I mean, you folks getting killed like it ain't no business, but George Zimmerman's still around. You know what I'm saying? Carolyn Bryant, the one who lied on Emmett Till and got him killed, she's still around. She's never did any prison time. She confessed to it. She's at least an accessory. And the FBI opened up their case how many times on Emmett Till and nothing came of it? We waiting for white folks to do the right thing. They ain't gonna never do right by us. They always doing wrong by us, man. What do you think a contract is? It's a con. What's a contract? A con. Yeah, they say Robert Johnson went there. I don't know. Y'all should read a book that his stepsister put out. She's almost 100 years old. I know the co-author who helped wrote that book for her, Preston Lauterbach. He used to be a writer here down in Memphis Flyer, right? And he's an associate of mine. And he out there in Virginia, but he was hired by Robert Johnson's sister. He was hired by her, who's in her almost 100 years old, and she still got a working mind. She's right in her right mind. She lives in Massachusetts. She told her story about her brother Robert Johnson. On a book cover, there's a picture of Robert Johnson she's been held on to for decades. It's Robert Johnson. It's like we know of 2 confirmed pictures of Robert Johnson, but she got this picture she's been holding on for decades. It's the front cover. Y'all need to check out that book. I mean, because it's in her words, right? Even though she had Preston, a white guy, write the book, he recorded her and he wrote what she said. And you could tell she's a brilliant storyteller, very intelligent sister. And y'all should check out the book if y'all into Robert Johnson. Now, they said the Crossroads was in Clarksdale, Mississippi, where he did that deal. I went down to that that Crossroad in Clarksdale. It's all built up now. You got a barbecue restaurant on one side. You got Church's Chicken on the other side. It's very modern now. But, it probably wasn't like that back in 1930s, right? So I went down there at midnight, actually. Old Highway 61. I went down there at midnight about 2 years ago, back in May, I believe. And what I did see at midnight was a big black dog. I ain't gonna lie, I'm not lying. I saw a big black dog walk across the street. It didn't bother me or nothing. It was a big, like a wolf dog, a big black wolf dog. And I don't know what that means, but it was at midnight. See, I gotta take what y'all take from it. I didn't make no deals. And I'm still here. So but I love the Mississippi Delta, man, all the history there, man. We just sleep on a lot. Our people need to wake up. So we are such a beautiful and powerful and resilient people. So I guess I said enough. I know I'll be all over the place, my bad. But hopefully I gave y'all enough. Oh yeah, y'all should check out this book about Reese Taylor and Rosa Parks and Montgomery bus boycott. At the Dark End of the Street, Black Women, Rape, and Resistance, a new history of the civil rights movement from Rosa Parks to the rise of the Black Power by this white professor from Michigan named A.L.L. McGuire. So this talks about the rape perpetrated against Black women by white men abusing their power. And thank you for the donation, my friend. Kwana Hani. I'm sorry. Khalifa. I'm gonna call you Brother Khalifa. I ain't gonna butcher your name like that, Brother Khalifa. Thank you for the donation. And thank y'all for listening to me. But yeah, check out that book. I try to drop information at the Dark End of the Street, Black Women, Rape, and Resistance, a new history of the civil rights movement from Rosa Parks to the rise of Black Power by Danielle McGuire. Y'all should check out that book. It tell you about that hidden history about the movement. Like the brothers. The reason why the sisters stopped getting raped during the Montgomery bus boycott is because the brothers stood up. Black men did protect Black women. You had brothers came home from the Korean War and World War II. They had their guns, so they were protecting the sisters during this Montgomery bus boycott, which lasted for 381 straight days. So that give me hope. So I talked about earlier, Breonna Taylor, when they refused to try those cops in the court of law, when they told us the decision was September 23rd. Which was the 65th anniversary of Emmett Till's killers walking free. And now you have December 1st, 2020, Bill Cosby's appeal where this is also the 65th anniversary of the Montgomery bus boycott, which was successful. See, that's the one we don't even talk about. We always try to reenact like March on Washington. There was no success. I was trying to reenact Selma Bloody Sunday. Okay, but Montgomery bus boycott was a win for black people. He had black folks working with black people, and also Dr. King years later, he was at this radio DJ convention down in Atlanta back in 1967. He spoke about the importance of black media, in particular black radio, helping with the logistics of the bus boycott. He talked about that, how the black radio was used to send coded messages and whatnot to the people in the black community in Montgomery. And you ever been down to Montgomery and go to Dexter Avenue Baptist Church? I had the chance to go down there 5 years ago. I actually went down to the basement where Dr. King's former office was, and the chair he used to sit in, I sat in. Now they tell you can't sit in that chair, and I sat in the chair anyway. Took a picture of it. But I always just wonder, why wasn't his church ever firebomb or put a bomb on? And the thing about it is, Dexter Avenue Baptist Church is right up the street, literally from the Capitol, from the state's capital. So I don't think they could have justified his church catching on fire like that and them not doing anything. We right up the street from the state's capital. And Montgomery at one point was the capital for the Confederacy during the Civil War. It was the capital of the Confederacy during the Civil War. And there's a guy buried in Elmwood Cemetery here in Memphis' oldest cemetery, I believe. His name is Herman Frank Arnold, if I'm not mistaken. Herman Frank Arnold is a co-author of Dixie. I wish I was in Dixie, hooray, hooray. I wish I was in Dixieland. He actually performed that at the inauguration of Jefferson Davis in the state's capital down, the Confederacy capital, excuse me. What ended up being the capital of the Confederacy by the end of the war was Richmond, Virginia. But at first it was Montgomery, Alabama. And Jefferson Davis is actually buried in Richmond. And it's interesting about Jefferson Davis. His wife, if you look at pictures, she probably was black. You call him Attn, mulatto, all that stuff. Probably was black. Thank you, Margie Onitwa. I hope I said your name. All right. I apologize in advance. Thank you for sharing so much history. Would appreciate hearing your research on Sun Ra. Thanks in advance. Yes, I'm gonna talk about Sun Ra. Actually, I'm doing the virtual Jimmy Lunsford Jamboree Festival this year. We just lost somebody. Danny Ray Thompson. God bless Danny Ray Thompson. Brilliant brother. He was the baritone saxophonist, reed extraordinaire in the Sun Ra Orchestra. He died earlier this year. And I got to do a tribute to our brother Danny Ray Thompson, because the Sun Ra Orchestra came down to Memphis. Very historic event. I believe it was their first time coming to Memphis. Even when Sun Ra was alive. I mean, he's still alive. He's on the mothership, spaceship. Space is the place. When Sun Ra was a human, in human form, I don't think they ever did perform in Memphis. So to bring the orchestra to Memphis 2 years later, 2 years ago, 2018, give a shout out to Dr. John Bass, the Mike Curb Institute. They helped sponsor that concert. It was amazing for Jimmy Lunsford Jamboree Festival Week. That was amazing. And Danny Ray Thompson, they were playing, man. They played some tunes in honor of Jimmy Lunsford. I think it's called All Along With You. One of my favorite Jimmy Lunsford tunes. They just did their business on that, right? And Danny Ray Thompson, one of the things he wanted when he got to Memphis, he called me. He wanted a barbecue brisket sandwich. Memphis is a barbecue capital. I know y'all talk about Kansas City and Texas and the Carolinas, but you gotta understand, Memphis is birthplace of modern America. It was a dude from the Memphis area named Henry Perry that brought modern barbecue to Kansas City. Henry Perry brought barbecue to Kansas City. He's from Memphis, or what is now known as Memphis. He was born in Shelby County. Back then, a lot of what was now known as Memphis today was just Shelby County. It was unincorporated. So he's from here. He brought barbecue to Kansas City. When he died back in, March the 22nd, 1940, his proteges was the guys who founded Gates Barbecue and Arthur Bryant's. So all them great barbecue houses and restaurants, and not like the big names like Arthur Bryant's and Gates Barbecue, they were apprentices with Henry Perry. Look up Henry Perry. He brought modern barbecue, just like Charlie Parker Daddy is from Memphis, by way of Clarksdale, Mississippi. Bird's Daddy's from here, right? Louis Armstrong's second wife is from Memphis. What I'm saying is, Memphis is crazy. It's like a vortex. It's like a crossroads for American culture here in Memphis. And a lot of Memphians don't know that, which is sad. But yeah, but Sunrise Orchestra, it was amazing, man. I'm gonna share some of the highlights. We're gonna pay a tribute to Danny Ray Thompson for the upcoming Jimmy Lunsford virtual Jamboree Festival week. We will be coming up sometime mid-December this month. So thank you for that. Yeah, real Birdman. Cool, cool, cool. What happened to that boy? All right, thank you, man. A real good supporter, real Birdman Jr. Peace to you, God, as well. Yeah, yeah. Unsucking one, I ate some real tips in Memphis. They were like butter. And Memphis got more barbecue restaurants than any place outside of I want to say Houston and Chicago. I think we in the top 3 for barbecue spots, and we're not as big as a Houston or Chicago. Maybe we in the top 3 or top 2. But you can go almost anywhere in Memphis and find some good barbecue. I mean, hole in wall places. A lot of people want to talk about Rendezvous and Corky's, excuse me. But I love my barbecue place. I love Central Barbecue. I like Central Barbecue. But you got places, I mean, A&R Barbecue. I grew up on A&R Barbecue. That's black owned. You got a couple places, man. You can't go wrong with Memphis barbecue, man. Chicago barbecue is nasty, bro. Okay, I gotta try it. But yeah, but Memphis is a barbecue capital, man. Memphis barbecue capital. Like I say, Henry Perry, the father of modern barbecue, taught folks in Kansas City how to do barbecue. If you like Gates Barbecue and Arthur Bryant's, they just changed their barbecue sauce ingredient. I have a great uncle that lived in Kansas City, Hezekiah. They said they stole his barbecue sauce, man. I come from an interesting family. Like I was looking at Fargo season 4 with Chris Rock. If y'all, check out Fargo season 4. It's set in Kansas City back in the early 50s. Chris Rock is a head of a black mafia family going against the Italians. It's great to me. I love it. It reminds me of my paternal grandmother and her siblings. They call the French. They the Frenches. My great grandfather, her father was named T.J. French or Thomas French. He actually had to change his name and leave South Carolina, Greenville, because he killed a white man who was threatening the life of his mother. So he left Greenville, went to the Midwest, met my great grandmother, Ann Joplin, and married her in Scotland. Not Ann Joplin, Ann Miller or Anna Miller, and in Joplin, Missouri. I call him Missouri. I don't call him Missouri or Missouri, Missouri. And then they end up settling in Kansas City, Kansas. Ended up having 10 kids. He had when my grandmother was born, he was 66 years old. And he died during the Great Depression. And she was the last of his 10 children. So her and her siblings have had very unique and unusual lives. Only one is still alive, my uncle James French out in South Carolina, Charleston. He founded and owns the oldest black-owned newspaper in South Carolina called the Charleston Chronicle. He's actually a hometown hero. They got a street named after him. He's an amazing man. He's the only one left of his siblings. He's 94 years young. And my grandma died about 4 years ago at 88. So looking at Fargo remind me of the colorful black people in my family from Kansas City. Y'all should check out Fargo season 4. And my favorite character actually in Fargo was Dr. Senator. That was played by the great Glenn Turman. I met Glenn Turman about 3 years ago in L.A. He's a great actor. Do y'all know he was Travis in the original Raising the Sun? Like when they did the teleplay with Sidney Poitier and Ruby Dee and what's her name? What's her name? Julian Sands. What's her name? Dorothy Sands, like the one. Oh my God. I'm gonna get her name right. I don't want to get her name wrong. She died so young. She's supposed to play Claudine. That's not Julian Sands. That's a man. What's her name? I gotta get ready to go anyway. Let's see what her name was. Ooh. I'm gonna get out of here, y'all. Thank y'all for being patient. And Lorraine Hansberry, yeah, she get to play for Raising the Sun, right? And her people are from Mississippi. Lorraine Hansberry, her people from Mississippi. Yeah, Ruby Dee, Sidney Poitier. I think he the only one. Him and Glenn Turman are the only ones still alive. From the original Raising the Sun. Lorraine Hansberry died real young back in the 60s. Diana Sands. Yeah, I love that. I'm in love with Diana Sands. She died young, but she supposed to been like Claudine, and she ended up recommending Diane Carroll for that part in Claudine. Diana Sands. I should check her out. Yeah, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, I wanted to get the wrong information. I want to say Glenn Turman was in there. I don't know. But he's my favorite character in Fargo. But he was the guy that played in A Different World, the military guy, and also Cooley High. You know, he did Cooley High. Let's see, make sure I get it right. Okay, yeah, he did play. He was the original Travis. He didn't play in the TV show, in the TV movie when they adapted it as a TV movie. But he was the original Travis in Lorraine Hansberry's Raising the Sun. Like I said, Lorraine Hansberry people are from Mississippi. She has a famous uncle named William Leo Hansberry who taught at Howard for a number of years. He's brilliant. He was like a great expert on Egypt. That's William Leo Hansberry. That was an uncle. They was from Emmett County, Mississippi, down there in the Delta. Mississippi produced a lot of great people. But anyway, I'm about to shut it down. I just jibber jabber all in my mouth. Words come out of my mouth. Hope I can understand. Y'all can understand some of the words came out of my mouth. Yeah, he was also in The Wire as Mayor Royce. I mean, Wire never won any awards. Y'all be hung up on these award shows. The Wire never won an Emmy, man. One of the greatest TV shows of all time. Never won an Emmy. Tupac never won a Grammy, and y'all care about these award shows. And that's another time for another day. But thank you all for tuning in. If you like the words from Brother Herb, please subscribe to We All Be TV. I know I've been having an exodus of people leaving We All Be TV, but it is what it is, man. I'm Brother Ron. I'm not Dick Gregory. I'm not Judge Joe Brown. I'm Brother Ron. I'm not Dr. Short. I'm just me. And I'm going, I gotta be me. I got to be me. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Thank y'all for bearing out. I hope I made some sense. I hope I made connect the dots. La 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 la. I mean, I talk about a little bit of everything, but I want to thank you all for being patient. Subscribe. We all BTV YouTube, and you want to support this. Like I said, YouTube be taking a lot of money out there. Super chats. They take like over 50% of your donation. So if y'all want to get me full support, you could cash app it, $ R2C2H2. You could PayPal it or Google Pay R2C2H2 at gmail.com, or you can Venmo it at R2C2H2. And thank you once again, family, for being patient. Know that the best is yet to come. In the words of Great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. And let me read this disclaimer about We All Be. Disclaimer: the views expressed by hosts and guests on the We All Be TV platform are not the official views, opinions, beliefs, or perspectives of We All Be News or the We All Be Group Incorporated. We All Be News is an organization that thoroughly believes in supplementing the information narrative that is usually supplied by the corporate news entities with those viewpoints expressions which may be marginalized or ignored for a plethora of reasons. We are about informing the general public on alternative perspectives as it relates to news and information, and letting the general public be the ultimate judge in deciding on how to use said information. Informed citizens are responsible citizens. Thank you for your support. And once again, we love you madly. And y'all keep on producing and pushing. I'm about to be out of here. I'm late for an appointment, I think. Peace out. One love.